Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is the long-awaited next episode of my You Do Not Need That series, where I'm going to be talking you out of buying these new, exciting, very tempting, juicy new makeup releases. If you are on a no buy, if you are on a low buy, if you're trying to cut back on makeup or beauty spending, then this video is especially for you. So without further ado, let's get started. So as always, quick disclaimer before we jump into these new makeup releases. I am a beauty YouTuber, so you may well think this is very hypocritical because you know that I have purchased some of these products I'm going to talk about. I have reviewed them, some of them I love, and you may feel like this is very hypocritical of me to tell you not to buy these products when I myself have purchased them. So please keep in mind that this is definitely a do as I say, not as I do situation, but it comes with love from a good place. Not because I think you don't deserve to be happy or you don't deserve nice things, but because this video is especially for people who are trying not to be tempted by new makeup releases, trying to avoid FOMO, trying to save money. Maybe you're on a low buy or a no buy year, and beauty channels are usually very unhelpful if you're trying to save money. So yes, I will be reviewing or already have reviewed some of the products I'm going to talk about in my video today, but in no way does that mean that you need to run out and buy them or that you're missing out if you don't also pick up everything we're talking about in this video. Usually the reasons I encourage you not to purchase products is not because they are terrible products. By no means is everything I'm going to talk about in this video awful, terrible makeup that nobody will enjoy. It's because these products are so tempting and everybody's loving and enjoying them that they are giving us those feelings of desperately needing and wanting them. But believe it or not, a product being a fantastic, beautiful, great makeup product that I love or that I'm enjoying or that lots of people are enjoying does not mean that you need it. I know, that's shocking, isn't it? Because good or great product or not, we still do not need anything that we're going to be talking about in today's video. So on that note, kicking us off, the Charlotte Tilbury Beautyverse Love Palette. So I do own this palette. This is one of the makeup items I have already reviewed that we're going to be talking about today, but I definitely do not think you need this palette. It's expensive and it's very alluring. It's beautifully pretty and sparkly and twinkly and it's luring us in. It's Charlotte Tilbury. That is probably my hardest to resist brand because it's just a brand I really resonate with and I love their products. The reasons why you do not need to buy this palette if you're trying to save yourself money is this palette does one look. It does a sort of richer, grungier pink / red look. It does it very well, but this is a 9-pan palette and that's all it does. It doesn't give you a lot of variation. You can't get 4 or 5 different looks out of this palette. So it's not really great value for money. It's not a very economical palette. If you are obsessed with a richer, darker, grungier pink look, then you probably already have palettes that look like this. You could certainly pick up a quad from Charlotte Tilbury's many pink quads that she has to choose from at a half of the price and get the same one look that this eyeshadow palette does, okay? It's not going to get you 4, 5, 6 different looks. In the value for money scheme of things, this is not going to be it because you'll find that whatever combination of shadows you use from this palette, you're going to get the same exact look every time. If that is absolutely your favorite look, you already have these colors. If it's not really, there's nothing else it's going to do for you. Let's move on. Next up, let's talk about Dior's Sequin Liquid Lipsticks. I feel like these are so tempting around like holiday season because they're sparkly, okay? There's nothing super exciting about this formula. It's a nice liquid lipstick formula. It's a dry down setting liquid lipstick. And I think, as I said in my review, these are great for a Christmas party or a New Year's Eve party. You aren't going to wear them ever again after a party, okay? They are only good for that. Nobody's going to walk around with a liquid lipstick on and rub their lips together and get a load of glitter to appear on the school run, unless you're trying to like entertain the children. Maybe the bus is running late. Maybe that could help you in those specific circumstances. The rest of the time, I own a couple of these. I purchase them every year and review them every year, but I never wear them again, okay? Unless I'm going to a Christmas or a New Year's Eve party, which I'm typically not because I don't want to leave my house. So ask yourself, will I wear this a lot? Will I get my value for money? Or will I wear it one time and then it will languish in the bottom of my drawer because I don't walk around with sparkly glittery lip on a daily basis? If you do, more power to you, okay? But if, like me, you're not going to do that, you prefer a shinier lip or something more comfortable or something with less glitter involved on a daily basis, you are going to wear these one time and then they're going to perish in your drawer and they're too expensive for that, okay? They want to thrive and live on, and you're not going to do that. You're not going to allow them to be their best, okay? You're not going to allow them to thrive, and they deserve that, okay? Don't buy one, wear it once, and then shove it in the bottom of the drawer. What's the point of that? Nothing. You could have spent that money on a gorgeous lipstick that's a really beautiful shade that you're gonna love and wear day in, day out, and it's gonna become like your signature lipstick. That's what we should be focusing on, not a sparkly sequin lipstick that we wear once at the Christmas party and then we never see it again until it's gone off and it started separating in our drawer. And by then next year's will have come back around and we'll repeat the cycle. Someone has to break the cycle. It's going to be us, okay? We won't wear these. Don't bother. Now, the Dior Holiday highlighters are also a very tempting little item, aren't they? They have this glorious, sparkling, shiny packaging. They've got the gorgeous, tempting embossing on the product itself. Again, I've purchased one of these, I've reviewed it. It is very much your average highlighter. If you have ever purchased a highlighter from Dior before, this is not different, okay? It's the exact same as their previous coral shade. I did do a swatch comparison in my review. It's exactly the same shade. There's no difference. Dior have their highlighter formula. They rarely do something different. If you picked up a Dior highlighter before, you already have these in a slightly different container with maybe a slightly different embossing on the front. What do we need that for? We don't. It's the same. It's the same. It's not different. It's not special. It's expensive. Save your money for something you don't already own. Next up, we're going to talk about one of the most tempting visual feasts I've ever laid my eyes on, and that's saying something, okay? These By Terry CC highlighters. They really threw everything at these, didn't they? I don't know how you could look at this and not be in some way compelled to want to spend your money on it. It's visually glorious from the outside to the inside to the product itself. Everything is just forcing us against our will to add to basket, isn't it? Is that just me? Oh my goodness, this is a tough one. Let me just say, these are going to be around for a while. At least wait for a sale, because these are expensive for a highlighter. And yes, they look stunningly beautiful and the packaging is very tempting, and the product with the shape and the shade, it's all designed to lure us in. And forget, it's just a highlighter. I know this middle shade is like also a sort of blushing highlighter. Please don't try to tell me you haven't got those already. Okay, we've been doing blushing highlighters all year. We did them from Rare Beauty. Do you remember those? We've already got them from MAC. The extra dimension blushes, we've had those. We've got the RMS ones. Please don't try to tell me that you don't already own some shimmering, glowy blushes, okay? Because you definitely do. And this is a very done shade. This sort of peachy coral is literally the #1 blushing highlight shade that we've ever seen. Charlotte Tilbury's been doing it for years in her cream formula. Have we forgotten because we saw this and thought, oh my God, it's pretty, and we lost our marbles? Go and have a look through your drawers, okay? If you've got the Beauty Light ones from Charlotte Tilbury, you've got something like this. If you've got some RMS blushes, you've got something like this. If you've got some Hourglass blushes, you've got something like this. If you've got some Rare Beauty highlighter, blushy, blahs, you've already got this. The Fenty ones, you've already got this. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's actually not as new and exciting as you thought. It's just disguised in this very alluring little treasure chest of delight to lure us in and forget. I definitely already have something like this. Next up, let's talk about this Chanel oversized highlighter. It's Chanel. It's very pretty to look at. The embossing, the beautiful design, it's all twinkling away. It's luring us in. But be warned, okay? This is £70 worth of glitter. You can buy glitter at Claire's Accessories if you want, and you'll get probably a similar effect on the cheek that you will to this highlighter. It's very sparkling. There's nothing super exciting about it or super different. It's just a sparkling, twinkling. May it be pretty if you put it on the eyes? Sure. Is it going to enhance texture and look like a sparkling, twinkly streak on the cheek? For a lot of us, yes, it will. This is not Rêve de Camellia. I know a lot of us are still chasing that dream that Chanel can do a baseless, glorious, smooth, sheer, glossy, stunning, light from within highlighter. This isn't one of those. This is a sparkling twinkler. Okay, no one needs a £70 lifetime supply of that. It's £70 and it's ginormous. It's the size of your head. You don't need it. You've probably already bought Rêve de Camellia. Maybe you bought one of the Symbols highlighters. Those are nicer. Okay, they're nicer, they're prettier, they're smoother, they're perfect. You'll wear them a lot. This, again, it's a holiday party when you might want to have some glitter all over your cheeks kind of situation, and then it's £70 in the bin. You definitely have highlighters that you'll love more than this one. This is just new and shiny, and it's got a little pretty picture on the front and it says Chanel, but even by Chanel standards, you can do better than this, okay? You can do better. The Symbols highlighters are still sitting there because they're ginormous and no one needs a lifetime supply of highlighter. And those are prettier than this one. This will be around for a long time. So if you really feel like you need and want this with your whole being, wait for a sale. Give a cooling off period and keep looking at swatches and thinking, is this really something I'll use? Because I don't think many people will. I think this will sit and again, languish in a drawer, £70 down the drain that could have been saved up for something you'll use every day, that you will treasure, that will give you joy, instead of this, which will give you buyer's remorse. We don't want that. Remember, makeup products aren't ornaments. You could get a glorious ornament for £70 that would be stunning and you can look at it every day. You're not going to put this somewhere on display, certainly not open. If you do, it will start to smell funky rather quickly, okay? Buy an ornament. It will last you a lifetime as long as you don't let your children near it, or a dog. Or if you have a cat, probably just don't bother at all. Because why do cats literally just like to... Another item from Chanel that not a single soul on this planet needs is this oversized eyeshadow / cheek quad. Again, Chanel have done it where they've been like, oh, this is like a multi-use situation. It's for eyes and cheeks. Is it though? Is it though? Because these are not shades that I would ever use as blush, okay? There's like a very, very shimmery, sparkling silver shade in there. I mean, where exactly on our cheeks are we putting that? And then the other shades are all very rich and bright. So if you're a rich, bright kind of blush girl, maybe you will wear these on the cheeks. I know for a fact this isn't going to go on my cheeks. And I don't even know how this works as a colour story on my eyes either. I feel like Chanel says this is for cheeks and eyes just so they can charge us more. That's what they're doing. They're thinking, we can only charge like £50 for an eyeshadow quad, but if we say it's oversized and make it an eye and cheek quad, we can charge about £20 more. That's what they're doing. I know it. I know someone sat in the boardroom saying, let's make it cheek and eye, and then they can't say it's too big for an eyeshadow palette and we can charge a lot more. No, no. No, we see you. We won't put these on our cheeks. And I definitely don't think I'm going to put them on my eyes either. I don't know how this makes a look that I'd like to wear. It's all shimmery. It's like 4 different colour stories all together. I don't understand. I definitely know for £70, there's something better I can do with my money. Okay, there's definitely something better than this. I won't use this. You won't use this. It's not a multitasker. They're just lying through their teeth to make us spend more money. Remember, there's always something more exciting around the corner, okay? If you really need to, take a cooling off period, wait for swatches, wait and see some looks coming in. Do you love any of them? No, you don't. You don't need it. Let's move on. Next up, we're going to talk about the Westman Atelier concealer that's almost £50. So presumably it's going to conceal all of my dark circles, all of my secrets, and all of the bodies that I've hidden in the woods. I've said too much. Of course I'm joking. Or am I? This is a very measly 6 mils of product for almost $50. So it's not that generous. A lot of that money is coming from the gorgeous component that's tempting us, that's luring us in, that's telling our brains it's worth the money because it's got a gorgeous component. But does that help conceal our secrets and all of our dreams and all of our deepest, darkest desires? No, it doesn't. Now, I won't lie to you. I never lie to you. In these videos, I'm going to give you the cold, hard truth of the matter. This is a really nice concealer. It's got great coverage. It blends out nicely. The problem is, if you aren't a member of the Simpson family, it's not going to look good on you. Okay, I tried this in a neutral shade and it was yellower than the sun. Okay, that's how yellow it was. People started asking me if I had jaundice. They didn't, that's a lie. But you see what I'm saying? It's so yellow and that was a neutral shade. And let me tell you, you know, if you are not the warmest of the warmest yellow undertoned kind of person, if you put something super duper yellow on your face, particularly like in the center of your face, it's going to throw your entire makeup look off. And as much as I enjoyed this concealer, the shade range is so poor that I don't use it because it just makes everything look terrible on me. It throws everything off. I can't pull off something that yellow, and nor can most people. Okay, so just remember, you do not want to spend $50 on a concealer that's not going to work for you. So I beg you, go in store at least. Don't blind buy this off of the internet. Okay, learn from me. I waste my money so you don't have to. That's literally my job. That's what I'm here for, okay? And I wasted my money to look like Marge Simpson, okay? And that wasn't, she's a beautiful lady, don't get me wrong, but that wasn't my goal. That wasn't the look I was going for. I was actually going for a different look entirely. So I beg you, before you spend that money online, please at least go and get some swatches or a shade twin. Wait for a sale. The Sephora sale is coming up pretty soon. That's an instant 20% off. This is a permanent product. So again, watch lots of reviews. Wait till you can go and get a swatch and make sure the shade's going to work for you. Wait for a sale. Ask for it for Christmas. Christmas not that far away. It's coming up and this is permanent. It's not going to sell out. It's going to still be there. Think about it. Use the concealers you already have. I know you've got 6 or more. I know it. Go and count your concealers right now. Your full coverage concealers. Do you have the Huda Beauty one? It's better. Do you have the House Labs concealer? It's better. Do you have the Galon Terracotta concealer? It's better. All of those better. Same amount of coverage, better shades, less money. You see where I'm going with this? We don't need this concealer, okay? We're moving right on. Next up, we're going to be talking about Natasha Denona's I Need a Warm eyeshadow palette. This is very, very tempting, okay? I won't, again, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't say this firmly enough. I'll never lie to your face like this, okay? I'm telling you the truth. The truth is, this is a great eyeshadow palette. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I'm using it all of the time. But is this a color story that we haven't seen before, that we don't own many of, that isn't very similar and gives a very similar neutral everyday look to many other palettes that we've seen, even from Natasha herself? I Need a Nude. We've got her Glam face and eye palettes, very similar color stories to those. If you've got Bieber, you know, if you've got the Pat McGrath Holiday palettes or the Bridgerton palettes that was all mattes, and then you can, you know, whack any shimmer on the top. You can create the looks that this gives you from a numerous, never-ending number of palettes, okay? Now, I know Natasha Denona has great formulas, and I don't think you'll be disappointed if you pick this palette up, but it's a permanent palette. again, wait for a sale, at least get 20% off, I beg you, because this is going to be around, it's not going to be gone, it's not going to sell out. 20% sale right around the corner, Christmas right around the corner, wait for vouchers, wait for a gift. It's something that you can wait for. You know, there's no rush to buy everyday makeup, okay? The everydays are not running out. You know, if there's a specific item that you want for a specific, you know, your wedding's coming, is a Christmas party around the corner where the person that you have been eyeing up in accounts all year is going to be there. That's the sort of thing that might be a rush that you might want to buy something quickly. Everyday, office-friendly, daytime look, neutral eyeshadow is not something we need to rush out and panic buy. Okay, there's no reason. Give me a reason, a good reason. You can't stop it. There isn't one. Cool off, look at what you've got in your collection, wait for a sale. It's still going to be there, I promise you. Next up, we're going to talk about the Patrick Ta foundation. This has been has anyone else noticed the roller coaster ride of emotions that we've all been on with this foundation? This launched a few days late here in the UK, which I really appreciated because usually it's like 6 months, not a few days. So in that time, when I was waiting to see if it was going to come to the UK, I watched multiple reviews and some went very, very quickly south. Some, it was like separating, bunching up. It wasn't like going into the skin. It was just hanging out on the surface with the peach fuzz for some unknown reason. Weird things were happening. Weird things were going down with this foundation. And then as time went by, I feel like people worked it out. And I definitely was one of those. I felt like this foundation, it takes some getting used to. It's not like slap it on your face and just hope for the best. It's more of a learning curve than that. And who wants a learning curve when it comes to makeup? You know what I mean? When you can slap most foundations willy-nilly in the direction of your facial area, we don't need to be like taking a PhD in order to get a foundation onto our face and looking great. And this is a decent foundation. It's nice. It's very in the middle, I would say. It's not got a lot of coverage, which is surprising. I don't know, is it surprising? It surprised me. I thought this was going to be like a solid medium to full, and it's more of like a light. We're slowly approaching the medium station. It's really not getting to a solid medium without a lot of product and a lot of work and building. And that might be fine if you're being paid by the hour to, you know, trowel foundation on someone's face. But the majority of us, we want to whack something on and be out the door in 10 minutes, and this is not your girl. This takes a bit of time, a bit of effort. It doesn't like being layered on top of certain primers or skincare, so you need a big gap. And yeah, it's a lot of work, okay? And then it's not a wow factor at the end. And if I am gonna put a shift in, you better wow me at the end. And this is just like, I've put a shift in, a bit of work, I finessed it. And then I'm just like, okay, I wish I had a bit more coverage. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit light to medium coverage. It's got a nice glow, a nice finish. Does it wear No, it doesn't do that. No one knows what that is. Does it wear spectacularly? Also no. It wears okay. Everything is just okay. And this is an expensive foundation. Do you want to spend that amount of money for okay? I don't think you do. I think if you own the House Labs foundation, if you own the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation, if you own the Dior Stick Foundation, if you own the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Foundation, if you own the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation, you've lost control already. Why do you own all of those foundations? But if you do own all of them, you've not been listening. If you own 2 or 3 of those, this is going to be essentially the same on the skin, but probably a little more work and more high risk that it will not work on you, as well as some of those others, okay? Don't get drawn into thinking this is something wildly different, okay? This is gonna take 10 years off of me. It's gonna make me look like a totally different, I'm gonna be Megan Fox. I'm gonna put this on and Megan Fox is going to be me. That's who I'll be. You won't be, you'll still be your same beautiful self, and with a similar foundation that you had on to yesterday. That's what's going to happen, okay? Best case scenario. So on the off chance that this is your dream foundation that you've been waiting for, and it just so happens that it works seamlessly and beautifully and perfectly for you, you can wait for that. You can wait for a sale. It's a permanent product. We don't go broke for permanent makeup. We don't pay full price for permanent products, okay? We can save our money. Why would we spend the full price? You take care of the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves. Is that the saying? It sounds wrong, but we're going with it, okay? Take care of the pounds. No, take care of the, which one is it? Someone tell me. What is the saying about taking care of your pounds?
According to usingenglish.com, if you look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves, meaning that if someone takes care...
I know, I didn't ask you what it meant. She just loves to show off. Moving on, we're going to talk about these new Gucci highlighters. I have one of them on today. Did you take one look at my face and think, the highlighter on that lady is coming home with me? Or did you really not notice it? Now, I love my Gucci highlighter. I have the shade Opal Pink and I love it. I've been using it a lot, but there's a but, you know there's a but coming, okay? I'm not gonna leave you hanging like that. It's an unpopular opinion. The vast majority of people that I've seen reviewing and using these Gucci highlighters don't love them. Lots of people don't like them. For lots of people, lots of the shades are too intense, they're too metallic. The first shade barely shows at all as a highlighter. These are not a fail-safe product. These are not a product that you can buy and it's a safe bet that you will love it. They're expensive highlighters. You want to know that this is going to be the love of your life every day. You're going to put this on your face and you're going to delight and bathe in the glorious light. And this is not a certainty at all with these highlighters. They're very hit and miss. They're very love-hate. And the last thing we want on this earth for you is that you spend 43 of your English pounds on something you're disappointed with that you won't use. Ugh, makes me feel slightly ill thinking about it. Please don't do that, okay? You can go and swatch these. I beg you to do that. They are available in lots of places. Swatch them, watch reviews, really think about how much you really need or even want another single highlighter. You've got so many of them on the skin. Are these going to look significantly different to the many others that you have in your drawer? No, and the likelihood is you've got a 50-50 chance as to whether you're going to be camp love or camp hate. And I don't like those odds. Those are not odds that you'd want to take in any other situation, are they? Be sure, wait for a sale, they're going to be around, don't panic buy them. Don't buy them just because I love them, because the next person hated them and didn't think they were worth the money. So it's a risky business, okay? It's a risky business. This is not a certainty. This is not a product that everybody loves, okay? So it's risky. Don't gamble on a 50-50 bet when we're trying to save money, you know? It's a highlighter. We've definitely got highlighters in 2024, all right? Next, we're going to talk about the Nars Holiday palettes for this year. There are two, which I appreciate that they are learning, and we've got one for lighter skin tones and one for deeper skin tones, but I don't care, okay? These for me, and I know for many of you as well, are some of the most tempting makeup items. Cheek palettes, oh, flipping love a cheek palette. And there's so many of them at Christmas. They're really expensive because they're not just a blush, they're like 6 blushes or 6 highlighters and bronzers and blushes and oh my, exactly. They're expensive. If you have ever in your life purchased a Nars cheek palette before, which I think most of us at this point, if we are into these sorts of things, we own a couple, okay? I know if you've already got one of these, you probably don't use it very often, do you? Have you hit pan on one of these cheek palettes before? If you have, teach me your ways because that's impressive. Well done. Front of the class for you. But I fear these cheek palettes from Nars are one of these items that they look so tempting, especially if you're a real blush person like me. Blush is one of those products, especially loads of them together in one place in a glorious package. Be still, my beating heart. They're alluring, they're tempting. We see it and it's all shiny and we lose our minds and our marbles and we forget. I've got 4 of these already. Is this going to be wildly different? No, it's not. It's going to be very similar, if not the same, as the others that you already purchased. So we don't need these. Do you especially reach for cheek palettes? I know I don't. I prefer to use singles. So a lot of the time my cheek palettes get very neglected. and left behind and forsaken because they're big. They don't go in my top drawer. They don't fit. I have to store them somewhere else and they get forgotten and left behind. If you are not really using your cheek palettes, stop buying them. Okay, I know it's crazy, but stop it. You've got loads of them. You don't use the ones you have already. Stop buying more because that's not going to help. You're just not going to use even more of them. These don't sell out. I know they're limited edition, but they never sell out super quickly. So if you desperately need these within your heart and soul, you can absolutely wait for a sale, wait for the Sephora sale. You can absolutely ask for one of these for Christmas and get it for free from Santa, but only if you've been good, okay? Only good girls need apply, or good boys, okay? Nobody else. You won't get it. You'll just get the usual lump of coal and an apple. But don't freak out thinking these are going to sell out before you've had a chance to buy them. They won't. You can wait for a sale. You have a cooling off period. Look through your drawers, see how many other blush and highlighter palettes, maybe even from Nars, you already own. Think about how often you use them. How often will you use this one realistically? Next, we're going to talk about Pat McGrath Holiday. She gave us a lot of eyeshadow this year. She gave us a big palette, she gave us some mini duos, she gave us some 5 pans, but the reality of the situation is, because we are so starved of something really exciting from Pat McGrath, we see anything from her and we just get excited. But are we really excited for the products she's offered us? Or are we just excited that it's something from Pat McGrath? Because although this looks quite colourful, as I said in my Will I Buy It, if we look at this palette and we hide a couple of shadows, it's basically like every other palette she's ever done. There's a lot of these shades in her Mothership palettes, particularly the last few. And if you look at her previous holiday palettes, if you've been buying the mega eyeshadow palettes every year, you absolutely have everything on offer this year. It looks different because you haven't looked at the other things for a while, but it's not really that exciting. When you kind of hide a couple of things, it's not really that exciting. And I will also say the green and gold duo, which is the item from this whole collection that I was most excited for because I'm a real green girl, not that exciting, okay? I've tried this on the eyes. I don't think I'll really use this again. I feel like I've got the Lisa Eldridge Sorcery palette that I really love and is a lot more, you know, of a comprehensive, cohesive look in a palette. This little duo, it's not for free. I know it's less than the 5 pans and the big Mothership Mega, but it's not for free. And all those little £20 here, £20 there, £30 here, £30 there adds up to a Mothership if you hadn't bought those 4 little mini things that you barely thought counted as purchases, because on their own it's only £20 to £30. But 4 of those purchases, you've got a Mothership, and I really hope one's coming soon, okay? So really think about these things. Have that cooling off period. Yes, it's limited edition. No, nothing out of here is selling out anytime soon. It's already gone Sephora. I'm sure we'll get it to Selfridges and everywhere else in the UK without anything having sold out. So have that cooling off period. Look at what you've got in your collection. I've been doing some comparisons over on my Instagram, and a lot of what we have already pretty much covers all of the boxes you could possibly hope to tick from this Pat McGrath collection. Again, like I always say, there's something more exciting coming around the corner, and although she hasn't delivered her usual Mothership, I feel like it's still coming. I think there's probably a reason it might be delayed, and we're going to get it soon. And then will you wish you hadn't shopped this collection? Like I said, there's always something more exciting around the corner. So if it's a maybe, if it's a I think I like it, it's a no. There's always something more exciting coming. Next up, let's talk about these Hourglass Holiday palettes and the Hourglass Barneys palettes, okay? Because they're all one and the same. These are, without question, one of the hardest to resist makeup items every year, without question. Certainly for me, these are one of the launches every year. I look forward to these so much. I love them so much. I purchase them pretty much every year. I purchase all of the shades so that I can review them. Would I do that if I wasn't a YouTuber? Absolutely not. I would just pick my favorite. I certainly wouldn't encourage anyone else to buy all 3. Pick your favorite at least, and you'll be happy. On the skin, okay, These palettes are going to give you that hourglass look, which we love so much. A glowy goddess, beautiful, gleaming, fresh, juicy, healthy skin, full of life and effervescence. Yes, they will. They will do that. I love them, okay? I'm not going to tell you these are rubbish. They're not worth the money. I love them. They're one of my favorite makeup products. But if you have ever purchased one before, although the shades are slightly different, and this year we've really got sucked in because it's all new shades, and so that justifies it even more, doesn't it? Oh my god, they're all new shades. I don't have it. We do have it, okay? On the cheeks, if you were to put, you know, any of these palettes side by side, one on one half of your face, one on the other half of your face, may it look slightly different? Yes, depending on the shades that you use. Is it overall the same effect? Yes, also yes. Okay, so for a start, you only really need one of these on the go at a time. You're not going, if you use this every single day for a year, you might be getting close to hitting pan, and then it will be next year and another one's coming. If you're barely going to use these, you have a big collection, you have several of these palettes, they're not going to get used enough. You're just going to use it a few times. It's going to be a waste of your money that could have gone on something more different. If you have never purchased one of these before, they are limited edition, and we're already seeing dragon palettes selling out, but it keeps getting restocked at the same time. And as I said, if that was especially the one you were interested in, any of the others, the Barneys palettes or the other palettes that were part of the holiday collection, they're going to give you a very similar effect on the skin. Will the swatches be slightly different? Yes, but the overall hourglass cheek effect on the skin from these palettes, it's always going to be pretty much the same thing, just a slight difference or tweak in the tone, and a lot of the time a lot of the shades are very similar because hourglass do give us a lot of pink. A lot of pinks. We very rarely get peaches or neutrals. We very rarely get anything other than the exact same shades every year. And while these have different names, they are very similar to lots of shades we've seen before. So if you have one of these and you've never really used it, you don't need another one. If you buy them every year, you definitely don't need any more. If you buy these and then find that you don't really use them, you still definitely don't need to do that again and again and again. But if you love and enjoy these, and this product is going to give you a huge amount of joy and you're going to use it a lot, still wait for a sale. You can absolutely wait for a sale on these. They are going to be 20% off on Sephora. I think we've got a sale going on at the moment. Is it Space NK or Cult Beauty? I forget. One of those are doing like a spend X amount, get a pound saving. So you can definitely save some money here. You can save up points. You can wait and get them later. They're always coming. They've really cottoned on, Hourglass have cottoned on to these, that they're their number one seller. They're very, very popular. That's why they do more and more every year. It's not out of the goodness of their heart, I don't believe. I think it's to make money, and they make a huge amount of money. They're expensive, okay? Really consider, how much do you use the ones you already own? How different are these to the ones that you already own in reality? Are you going to use them a lot? If not, easy pass. And finally, we're going to talk about beauty advent calendars. Now, we are overwhelmed by advent calendars. They're coming out of our ears. There's a Selfridges one, there's a Harvey Nichols, there's a Harrods, there's a Cult Beauty, there's a Look Fantastic, there's a Sephora. There's literally a million of them, okay? And this, what I'm gonna say about advent calendars, applies to all of the above, okay? All of these advent calendars that are coming out. They are so expensive. They're literally hundreds of pounds for essentially a load of samples. Are you well? Now, I know it's the packaging that gets us from this. An advent calendar, and it's so Christmassy and festive, and I'm gonna put it on display somewhere and it's gonna live with me forever, and I'm gonna use everything in here. That's what we tell ourselves. But most of these are like £200. 150 is like the minimum pretty much for a beauty advent calendar these days that has at least like 20 odd drawers. A couple of £100 we're talking about. Can you dead look me straight in my face and tell me you don't have a better use for £200, £150 even, that there isn't something that would really be an investment of your money in something that you'll use forever and love and cherish and get like a year, like the most expensive foundation you can pretty much find. Let's say my beloved Shade and Illuminate foundation. That's going to be cheaper than an advent calendar. You could wear that foundation every day for a year for that same money. Okay, you could buy it once a year. In the sale, you could definitely get that for like 90, maybe even £80 if you're lucky with a sale, and wear it every single day, a foundation, and get a lot of use and joy and love out of that. Or you could spend that money, a lot more money, on a load of samples that a lot of the time you get for free with your order. And if you're not careful, some of these advent calendars, they're literally putting stuff in there that they want to get rid of because it's no good, no one's buying it, or they've got too much stock of it, so they'll put it in their advent calendars. If you buy one from a brand that you really love a lot, for example, the Charlotte Tilbury advent calendar, you probably own most of what's in there already, don't you? And then do you actually want the other items? Will you actually use them? Will you treasure them? Are they something you would have bought anyway? Or are you just buying the advent calendar because it's shiny and it says Charlotte Tilbury on it? Advent calendars bring out madness in us, I think. If you are someone who gets excited about them, they're irresistible. The packaging is so exciting. The excitement of opening everything, which to be honest is gone now because they have to like reveal the contents beforehand. So the excitement of opening the doors is gone anyway. Okay. Do you actually want the items in here? Is it actually good value for money? Will you use everything that's in there? Or would it be better to take that huge amount of money that they cost and invest it in some makeup items that you really love and will use all of the time and get a lot of value back for the money that you invested? Which would you rather do? Because these cost more than a mothership. They cost more than like the most expensive foundation on the planet. They cost more than pretty much any eyeshadow palette. More than like the Danessa Myricks Lightworks palette. Any of those products you're going to use day in, day out for like years before you hit pan on anything. That's, you know, 2 of the Hourglass Holiday palettes. What is actually more exciting long term? Because once it's arrived and you've opened all the boxes and got your 20 mini sample travel sizes out, are you left feeling a bit dead inside? Are you left with a joy that will last day in, day out? Or are you feeling a bit sad and with buyer's remorse and wishing you hadn't spent all that money on that advent calendar because now you've got everything out, that's it. And these are all little minis that you won't really use that much or you didn't really want and you're going to give some of them away and use some of them and then it's gone. How much joy does it really give you outside of the first 10 minutes when it arrives? Probably not that much. Probably you'll regret buying it because it's really expensive and we get lured in because they sell out really quickly or they claim to, but then they keep restocking them. So we panic buy them and then I feel like we're full of regret because we're not going to really use the contents. We're just excited to open it and it be shiny and open all the doors. And that's like an hour later, that feeling's gone and we can't really use what is in there. And we could have got some really gorgeous, lovely products that we can use day in, day out for years to come, certainly months to come, for the same amount of money. I feel like these are never worth it. The vast majority of us are going to be much better off really considering something and saving up for it that we're going to love and treasure and we're going to get joy out of every time we use it for the long term over sort of 10 minutes of excitement. These have such a huge profit margin on them. It's insane. Like they're probably costing maybe like 15 to 20 pounds and we're paying 200 pounds for them. We've lost our marbles. So there you have it. That is hopefully all of you well and truly talked out of these extremely tempting makeup releases. This is our toughest season, okay? Holiday season for makeup releases is extremely tough. It's tough to get through. It's tough not to fall for all of the shiny, glittery, sparkling limited edition goodies. It's very hard, but we are strong. You are my strongest soldiers, okay? We know all the techniques, we know all the temptations, we know all the tricks of the trade, and we are strong. We can do this together. Okay, say it with me. We don't pay full price for permanent products. We wait for a sale, we have a cooling off period, and we look at what we already own in our collection and we say no. we are gonna stay strong. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.